This training module is going to be about the CCC and the environment and goals. So what is our mission and vision at the CCC? Well, our mission is connection. It's the Community Connection Center. And I think it's really important to take a second and think about what connection means to you. Does that mean walking in and being greeted with smiling faces? Does that mean being able to access the resources that you need? Does that mean having somebody to talk to? I think this is a really important piece to grasp when starting to volunteer at the CCC. So I would encourage you to continue thinking about what connection means to you. Our vision at the CCC is a connected community where every family has the resources they need to thrive. And these are our mission and vision. In addition to our mission and vision, we also have values. And what are these? So at the CCC, we value a diverse and equitable community that provides a safe, welcoming, and gathering space open to all. Access to connections between people and resources, encouraging innovation and networking, collaboration and cooperation, and streamlined communication and knowledge sharing. A physical and organizational hub with a shared purpose to put compassion for and the dignity of people at the center of all we do. So moving beyond Broad Street ministry, what are some other ways that we can promote a safe and respectful environment? Well, the goal of today's discussion and module of training is to remind us that how we communicate can have a significant impact on a given situation. It also aims to provide information and tools that can be used to diffuse a potentially difficult or hostile situation. So what are some other ways that we can promote a safe and respectful environment? Well, one of them is procedural changes. So for example, you could introduce yourself and offer assistance at some point while someone is shopping. You can use their name when talking to them, as it can help to break down defenses. And you can make a note of new clients. This will help the client to receive additional help until they feel more comfortable. The second way that we can promote a safe and respectful environment is by noting how we communicate. The words we use, the tone, and our body language all convey a message to the listener. Think about walking into a building and someone is smiling and waving at you, as opposed to walking into a building and people avoid eye contact and have their arms crossed. It doesn't matter what is said so much so as how it is said. And diffusing a tense situation requires that all three of these communication modes are in sync and controlled. How we listen can also promote a safe and respectful environment. Are we being attentive? Are we making eye contact, paying attention to what is being said rather than preparing our next response? Are we addressing the other person's concern rather than our own? Paying attention to what might be the unsaid message as well as the message that's being spoken. And lastly, there is a difference between hearing and listening. One is purely a biological function, while the other strives for understanding. How we respond also promotes to a safe and respectful environment. It is important to respond in a way that acknowledges the other's concerns and point of view. It's important that it's calm and kind, that it's direct without being rude, and that it's not confrontational. If a client is still unsatisfied or seems unable to understand what you're saying, it is appropriate and, I would say, recommended that you calmly say, "Let me get someone who can help you." It's important to remember that we may not always make someone happy, but we always want to be respectful and polite. So what can we do if we experience hostility? There may be times when we encounter someone who is hostile or manipulative without any or much provocation. Manipulative behavior is meant to affect us emotionally so that we will become aggressive. It's meant to control and manipulate our response. It is meant to get us to behave emotionally rather than thoughtfully. Being aware of a hostile situation gives us a fighting chance to remain in control of our own behavior and emotions rather than allowing the other person to control them. There are many different ways that hostility can play out, but we'll talk about three. So the first is verbal abuse. This would include offensive language, perhaps a condescending tone of voice. Secondly, it could be behaviorally, aggressive actions that are aimed to control or to intimidate in a situation. And third, nonverbal aggression. This could include invasion of personal space, menacing eye contact, moving or standing in a way that controls the space and people around them. So we've talked about hostility and how it can play out and what it would look like. But it's also important to know how to diffuse hostility. And there are 4 ways that we can diffuse it. First, it is important to know our own triggers. What drives us crazy? Is it sarcasm, blame? Is it pushy people, people who fudge the rules? Is it people that are arrogant? It's important to know our triggers. Secondly, being aware of our own triggers can help us when we encounter a difficult person because we can better act thoughtfully rather than emotionally. And again, this is not what the hostile person wants. Third, remaining in control of ourselves and the situation is imperative. And 4, ask qualifying questions. When diffusing hostility, it's important to remember show, explore, and get. Show empathy. Even if we disagree with someone's point of view, we shouldn't lose sight of their humanity. Explore alternatives and give options. Sometimes having a choice is all someone needs to feel they haven't lost their dignity and self-respect. And 3, get a staff person. Don't wait until a situation is out of control to get someone else involved. Staff do not expect volunteers to handle all difficult clients. When dealing with a dangerous situation, when someone is threatening with a weapon or physical violence, it's important to remember the following. If the disturbance is outside of the area where you are, close the doors and block the entrances if possible. If the disturbance is in your area, stay calm. Maintain eye contact. Stall for time. Follow instructions from the person with the weapon. Don't risk harm to yourself. And finally, watch for a safe chance to escape.